Welcome to the Late Lap, where racing's wild, the jokes are sideways, and the news hits harder than a nitro launch at ZMAX. Buckle up, your gear-grinding wannabes. It's time for your daily dose of auto and racing headlines, served with a side of shade so sharp it'll cut through your ego like a hot knife through butter. Clear that imaginary engine throat. Tweak that imaginary audio and pretend you're in the driver's seat, because IndyCar is tweaking the race times after their TV deal with Fox went faster than a pit stop and floppier than a flat tire. 5 races post-Indy 500 are getting new slots, because nothing screams "we got this" like scrambling to fix your schedule mid-season. Meanwhile, Alex Palou's out here winning his 3rd straight Sonsio Grand Prix, leaving the field choking on his dust. The guy's so dominant, I bet he could win in the Indy 500 in a go-kart while slipping on a latte. Over in NASCAR, Carson Hocevar still dodging personality growth like it's a caution flag at 22. He's got the charm of a rusty wrench, but they say he's sticking around and the garage is starting to smell bad. And Harrison Burton, he's sneaking back into the All-Star race. Yeah, nothing says unexpected comeback like a guy who's been lapped by his own ambition. Formula One's got drama juicier than a reality show. Alpine's team principal Oliver Oakes bailed faster than a rookie in a rainstorm. And now Franco Calpatino stepping in, probably thinking he's the next Max Verstappen. And spoiler, Max is closer to retiring than you are a podium, Franco. Oh, and Imola's F1 race is testing some radical tire plan, because nothing says innovation like gambling on a rubber while praying for no rain. And finally, Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe is bragging about their R2 drive unit like it's the second coming of the wheel. Mate, it's an electric SUV, not a moon rover. Calm down before you short circuit on your own hype. There you go, folks. Auto racing's still a circus, and the clowns are driving faster than ever. Keep your helmets on, because these headlines are wilder than a demolition derby. Mic, drop, engine roar. This is the Late Lap from Studio 1396. All right, folks, rev those engines and dim the lights. It's time for your late night Indy 500 rundown. Where the tires screech, the drama's real, and the shade is sharper than a freshly cut chicane. Tonight, we're zooming in on the big news shaking up the Brickyard, at least from my point of view. Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick are joining Fox's Indianapolis 500 coverage team, and oh boy, this is going to be a wild ride. Rev that imaginary engine like we mentioned earlier. Fox is pulling out all the stops, so they're going to have a couple schedule flaws, but their on-air team will be rocking. Dropping 60 hours of coverage like it's a 24/7 reality show called Who Can Talk About Ovals the Longest. Leading the pre-race hype are none other than NHRA's newest Top Fuel winner, Tony Stewart, and Danica Patrick, 2 IndyCar legends who've traded their helmets for headsets. And let's just say the fan reactions are hotter than a blown. The 1997 IndyCar champ Tony Stewart is basically motorsport royalty. 3 NASCAR titles, a double-duty hero who raced Indy and Charlotte in one day, and now he's slaying an NHRA Top Fuel, winning lights and races pretty often. The man's so versatile, he could probably win a soapbox derby on charisma alone. Fox snagged him again. He used to do some of the NASCAR races a few years back, and fans are like, hell yeah, Smoke's gonna bring the heat. Woo! Then there's Danica Patrick, the trailblazer who led 19 laps at Indy in 2005, snagged a podium in 2009, and became the first woman to make the 500 look like her personal playground. She does have the resume, and to all you haters out there, look, Danica's the real deal. She really is. All right? I'm tired of her being confused about this and that. or the fans about what her role was. Her role was to win races and be an ambassador. She did that. She was the Rookie of the Year, a Daytona 500 pole to boot. But when Fox announced her, X lit up like a pit lane fire. Some fans were stoked, saying that Danica's insights are going to be fire. Others not so much. One guy literally posted, "I'd rather listen to my muffler rattle than Danica's commentary." That's harsh. Another fan quipped, "Danica's crash experience will make her the wreck expert." That's cold. But you know what? She's been there, done that, and sold the t-shirt. Love her or hate her, Danica's a draw, and I love her. And Fox, they know what the fans need. They know what the sport wants. She's the kind of polarizing star who keeps eyes glued onto the screen, even if it's just to yell at the TV. Now, let's talk about these two in the same booth. Tony and Danica go back, and I mean way back, including teammates at Stewart Haas Racing in NASCAR's Cup Series, where Danica drove for NASCAR Tony Stewart. She snagged that historic Daytona pole in 2013, but Tony's not one to let her forget the flops. Back in 2018, he threw a little bit of shade, calling her Indy 500 comeback a sideshow, and saying he'd only return if he could actually win. Talk about a boss who doesn't sugarcoat things. Fans are eating it up, though. Some are hyped for this spicy dynamic. Others are like, this is going to be more awkward than a pit stop with flat tires. And the rest of the crew on Fox, they're no slouch either. Will Buxton has been killing it behind the mic. James Hinchcliffe and Townsend Bell, they're not newcomers. And in the booth, Jamie Little, Kevin Lee, and the fabulous Georgia Henberry on pit road. Plus, you've got Tom Brady riding along with Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan in the pace car, and Rob Gronkowski as Snake Pit Grand Marshal. It's like Fox invited every sports star to Indy and said, bring your loudest personality. But Tony and Danica, they're the main event now. Will they sizzle or fizzle? Will Tony roast Danica live? Will Danica clap back? I am going to grab my popcorn for this one. Buckle up, race fans. The Indy 500 comes May 25th, and with Tony Stewart and Danica Patrick on the mic, it's going to be louder than a V8 at full throttle. Stay tuned. This broadcast is about to take the green in just a couple of weeks. And speaking of smoke, this issue of National Dragster is hotter than a Top Fuel burnout, with Tony Stewart stealing the Vegas spotlight like he stole the show in Indy. The Motorsport MacGyver nabbed his first Top Fuel win at the Strip, 3.87 seconds, 317 mile an hour, leaving Antron Brown, Justin Ashley, and Jasmine Salinas choking on his fumes. The dragsters got him spilling his guts in an interview, calling it better than my first NASCAR win, which is like saying a burger beats a stale cracker. Fans on X are eating it up. One posted, "Tony's so good he could win in a golf cart." Easy, pal. Don't tempt smoke. 2 weeks later, Charlotte's Z-Max Dragway hosted the 1,000th Top Fuel event, and Sean Langdon snagged the Wally with Don Garlitz. Yeah, the 1963 OG handing over that trophy. Shinier than Langdon's ego. Brittany Force also made jaws drop with a 341 mile an hour pass, the kind of speed that'd make a fighter jet jealous. Joe Costello's column calls it history in a heartbeat. But I bet her rivals are just muttering show off. Sportsman racers got love too. Anthony Bongiovanni, Ford-powered stock and super stock profile, reads like a muscle car lover. Chris Whitfield's the Sportsman Racer of the Month, probably because he's nicer than your average gearhead. Luke Bugaki's breaking down Lucas Oil point battle like he's solving a math test. And Doug Gordon's teasing a 2026 comeback after letting his daughter Maddie hog the family ride. Of course, she'll end up over at Ron Capps Motorsports next year. Bold move, Doug, but we see you. Oh, and there is some tech talk in this month's National Dragster. They're going to talk about harmonic balancers, because nothing says party like engine parts and profiles on junior dragsters. Dylan, McKenzie, and Kane, who are probably faster than your commute, plus a nod to hot rodding post-World War II boom, because nostalgia's the only thing that is cooler than some of these dragsters. Go ahead, folks, grab that issue of National Dragster. It's got more horsepower than a Vegas casino and twice the attitude. This NHRA is the finest hour of autosport. And sticking with NHRA's fastest is Austin Prock, 341.68, but just a moment behind him is his teammate, Brittany Force. Ladies and gentlemen, let's fire up those engines and give a thunderous shout out to the unstoppable two-time world champion Brittany Force and her Monster Energy Top Fuel team as they charge toward redemption at the 25th annual Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals presented by Peak at Route 66 Raceway. This squad is pure nitro-fueled magic, and they are ready to light up Chicago like a 341-mile-an-hour Christmas tree. Crowd roars. Let's talk about this team's heart, grit, and sheer horsepower. Last year's Route 66 Nationals, it was a rare misfire for Brittany and her crew. They did fail to qualify for the first time in 187 races, and it hurt like a spark plug to the soul. But did they sulk? No. Under the genius guidance of crew chief Dave Grubnick, the team roared back in 2024 with a vengeance. Brittany blazed to a win in Las Vegas, snagged 5 number 1 qualifiers in the final 7 races, and finished 5th in the standings. It wasn't just a comeback. It was a full-on nitro explosion of talent and teamwork. And then, hold on to your helmets, came Charlotte last month. Brittany and her Monster Energy dragster, and if you were paying close attention, it was the Hendrick Cars dragster, didn't even just break the records, it obliterated her own speed record, clocking a jaw-dropping 341.59 mile an hour. The first Top Fuel run to ever crack 340 miles an hour. Talk about a mic drop. That's not just speed, that was history. Brittany herself said it best. She said, "It's something really exciting for every single one of her guys. They all work so hard," and she's right. Her crew's relentless wrench turning, data crunching, and tireless hustle made that record possible. Her team's tighter than a clutch plate, and their passion's hotter than a drag strip in July. Now they're rolling into Route 66 Raceway with redemption on their mind and nitro in the veins. Currently 6 in points, Brittany's hungry for her first 2025 win and her first ever Chicago victory. The competition's fierce. Sean Langdon's leading with 2 wins, Tony Stewart's in second like the legend that he is, and Antron Brown, last year's champs, is gunning for another. Do not sleep on Brittany's squad, though. With Grubnick's strategic brilliance and the crew's unmatched work ethic, they are ready to tame 11,000 horsepower beasts and leave the field in their dust. As Brittany put it, we feel our overall performance has significantly improved since last season, and we are in a much better place to qualify well, and we have a shot at that Chicago win. Do you hear that? That's confidence. That is confidence backed by a team that's pure dynamite. Let's not forget the bigger picture. This is the 25th anniversary of the Route 66 Nationals, a milestone event packed with 4 rounds of qualifying. Of course, the Mission, Too Fast, Too Tasty NHRA Challenge, and Eliminations on Sunday are all broadcast on the Fox family of networks or visit nhra.tv. It's the perfect stage for Brittany and her crew to shine. They're not just racing for a trophy, they're racing for pride, for redemption, and for the fans who will be screaming their lungs out in the stands. And with free admission, kids 12 and under, the next generation's going to see what a real Top Fuel dynasty looks like. So here's to Brittany, David, and the entire Monster Energy racing team, a crew that turns setbacks into comebacks, dreams into records, and dragsters into history-making missiles. You're not just a team, you're a family, a force of nature, and the heartbeat of the NHRA. It was a real pleasure to see that they are back in Chicago, where obviously last year was a little bit of a challenge for the team, but they're back and they are on fire. Well, speaking of fire and excitement, it is the NASCAR All-Star Week, and it is at the classic North Wilkesboro Speedway. Rev your imaginary engine. This ain't your grandpa's Sunday drive. This is a $1 million no-point all-glory showdown. And we've got the full schedule to get pumped for May 16th through the 18th. Cue the peel out. Drivers like defending champ Joey Logano and Kyle Larson will be talking at Press Pass May 16th at 2:45 p.m. They're going to have a big game, but we know the real talk's on the track At 4 p.m., the All-Star Open teams practice their pit road entries and exits, followed by the All-Star Big Dogs at 4:30. Both Open and All-Star drivers hit the track for practice at 5, tuning those machines to a grip that fresh pavement like a toddler on a sugar high. Then at 6 p.m., the All-Star Open qualifying and pit crew challenge lights up, and that is on FS1. Those crews are racing the clock to swap tires faster than you can say loose lug nut. All-Star qualifying will follow at 7 p.m., setting the stage for who's got pole position vibes. Post-qualifying, another press pass lets drivers whine or shine. Your call. Saturday, May 17th is where the tires really screech. At 1:30 p.m., Truck Series Window World 250 takes over. 250 laps of fender-banging chaos on FS1. On FS1, grins Jake Garcia, who led 40 laps last year. He says the track's super fast this year with that new asphalt, and the kid's not wrong. North Wilkesboro's got more grip than a soap opera cliffhanger. Then at 5:10 and 6:15, there are two 75-lap heat races on FS2. Those will set the All-Star race lineup. These short sprints are like a bar fight on wheels, pure chaos. And don't miss that Jake Owen concert Saturday night. Country tunes and burnout fumes free for ticket holders. That's how they roll in North Wilkesboro. Finally, Sunday, May 18th is the main event, folks. The day starts with NASCAR's Whelen Modified Tour, Faith Fest 150 at 2 p.m. That is found on Flow Racing, grassroots racing with an old school soul. At 5 p.m., the All-Star Open hits FS1, a 100-lap last chance brawl where the top two finishers and the fan vote winner punch their ticket to the big show. X is buzzing with Shane Van Gisbergen and Bubba Wallace as fan vote frontrunners. Better cast your vote before Saturday at midnight. Then at 8 p.m., the 41st NASCAR All-Star race roars to life. 250 laps for a cool $1 million. I'm excited about this year, and it's got new twists. We talked last night about the promoter's caution. That could drop before lap 220. That'll keep everyone guessing, and of course, my favorite part of the week, the manufacturer showdown, pitting Chevy, Ford, and Toyota for bragging rights. Logano led every lap last year, but Larson, Chase Elliott, and a stacked field, it's anyone's game. Tune in on FS1, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Satellite Radio Channel 90. Have the call. Don't touch that dial. Well, folks, when we talk about all this racing, I got to talk a little bit about some cars. Jaguar, the British car maker known for sleek Jags and that iconic Leaper logo, decided to hit the reset button harder than a NASCAR video game. According to the Telegraph, they chucked their tweed and tee vibe, ditched the Leaper, and rolled out a new logo that looks like it was designed by a caffeinated art student. Then they dropped ads with no cars, just models and neon jumpsuits strutting to the tagline, "Copy nothing." X lost its mind with one user saying, Jaguar's new ad looks like a vape commercial got lost in a fashion show. Jag, you're selling cars, not avant-garde perfume. It gets better, though. Or worse, I suppose. They unveiled the Type 00 electric vehicle concept, a four-door GT that's supposed to lead their all-new lineup in 2026. And they're halting global sales for 2 years while they wind down their current cars. 2 years? That's like telling your pit crew to take a sabbatical mid-race. Here in the U.S., dealers are stuck peddling inventory till year-end, probably whispering, please just buy the last fucking piece. Now, word is Jaguar's already second-guessing this glow-up and hunting for a new ad agency to maybe, not make it look like it's only meant for rich white people. That's the crashing on lap 1, blaming the tires, then swapping the whole car. Ex-users constantly are roasting them, and one person even posting, Jaguar's rebrand is like renaming your dog Cat and wondering why it's confused. Their agency, Accenture Song, isn't talking, but they're locked in till 2026, so the soap opera has legs. And look, Jaguar's old vibe, luxury sedan, sporty coupes, wasn't exactly lighting up sales charts. They want to be Aston Martin so damn bad, but they're selling fewer cars at six-figure prices. This rebrand's so chaotic, it's like they spun out in the infield and blamed the track. At least they got attention. When was the last time you actually cared about a Jaguar? And I bet if you're over the age of 30, it was when you watched Mrs. Doubtfire. Exactly. But backtracking now. That's like admitting you don't know your own horsepower. Jag, take a tip from racing. Stick to your line and you'll end up in the wall. Fans, head to social media and tell me, are the rebrand good things or is it a wreck? Stay tuned and I'll share some of your best comments. And finally, on to Harley. If you're an NHRA fan, you may be a little salty on the Harley, but we're going to dive into a story so wild, it's like a burnout in fireworks. Harley-Davidson and the Moto Grand Prix are teaming up to launch a global racing series. Pause. Not a team, not a sponsorship or a alliance. A new global racing series between Harley and MotoGP. And it's going to be a chrome-plated, bagger-fueled spectacle. Crowd cheers. Yay! Buckle up, because this monologue's got more torque than a V-twin on nitrous. Picture this. It's May 10th, 2025. You're in Le Mans, France. Harley-Davidson CEO Jochen Zeitz and MotoGP's big boss Carmela Ezpeleta, they step up to the mic. They're looking like they just brokered a deal to race on the fucking moon. And they announce a 12-race championship, hitting 6 MotoGP Grand Prix across Europe and North America starting in 26. And these ain't your typical feather white MotoGP rockets. These are Harley-Davidson's road glide baggers, those beefy, long, hard touring beasts tricked out for the track. Vroom, vroom, we're talking 617 pounds of American muscle, pumping over 200 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque. Hitting speeds north of 186 mile an hour. That's like strapping a rocket to your uncle's road trip cruiser and telling it to outrun a superbike. Shit, let's get this real. Harley-Davidson going MotoGP sounds like a biker bar crash and a wine tasting. Raises my eyebrow. I'm just reading my prompts here. Harley's all about chrome, leather, and that iconic rumble, while MotoGP is about carbon fiber, lean angles, and riders who weigh less than a Harley's saddlebags. But this ain't Harley's first rodeo. They've been tearing up the Moto American King of Baggers series, where guys like Kyle Wyman and ex-MotoGP racer Brad Smith make these 600-pound beasts look like they're dancing with ballerinas. People did go to social media talking about this one, including somebody saying a new Harley-Davidson series at 6 Grand Prix next season. Baggers and MotoGP, my beard just grew 3 inches. And I get it, people are really excited. The setup's pure genius. 6 to 8 teams in the league, each with 2 riders, all on identical road glides, plus free factory support and sponsorship from Harley-Davidson. Identical bikes mean it's all about skill. This is going to be the fanciest tech. 2 races per Grand Prix, 6 weekends, including a confirmed stop at COTA, the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. Harley's home turf. That was where the real fist pump came when Zeitz called it a bold new step for Harley's global racing ambitions. And he's not kidding. This is Harley flexing 120 years of heritage, from their first race bike in 1903 to the CVO Road Glide ST, and saying, hold my beer, we're going global. And that was when Carmela Ezpeleta, he was just as hyped. He said, we perfectly placed this. We placed it to bring our sport. We placed it to bring new audiences. Translation, MotoGP wants that sweet, sweet American biker crowd. But let's talk about the vibe. Imagine these baggers. Think big windshields, saddlebags, and enough chrome to blind a frickin' seagull. You're going to barrel down the MotoGP straight, shaking the grandstands like a Metallica concert, and mimicking all the Rumble fans. Harley baggers at COTA, I'm selling my couch to buy tickets. This is a great thing, and they've got a great point. 617-pound bikes hitting 186 mile an hour on tracks built for 400-pound superbikes. I'm out of breath just thinking about it. It's like entering a bulldozer and a ballet contest. But Harley's leaning in, and with Zeit saying it's an amazing spectacle for the greatest motorcycle show in the world, now the shade. Some people online think this is crazy. Baggers in our paddock? What's next? Monster trucks? But overall, the logistics, they've got some room to grow. They're still planning their calendar, the broadcast details, and the rider lineups, but it's something that will be really, really big. And I'm excited to learn about it. So whether you're a fan of speed, shade, or just watching the chaos unfold from pit lane, this show was your one-stop shop for high-octane headlines and low humor. So, we end the show tonight talking about motorcycles for the third time this week. Remember when we said we would talk about all kinds of racing? We are 3 weeks into the show. We've talked about horse racing. We've talked about motorcycles, racing on foot. We've talked about auto engineering. We've talked about sales, politics, themes, marketing. No show covers as many different broad topics while staying true to the racing that all of you are looking for than the Late Lap. We've got room to grow too. I take your feedback well, I promise I do. Send it in, aj@latelap.com. Call us 855-LATE-LAP or visit latelap.com and hit the subscribe button. For now, this would be the end of another great episode of Late Lap. We are 20 episodes in, 20 great ones. And I really want to say that when you're here, you're family. And some chain restaurant says that's our slogan, but it's the same here. I hope that when you tune into our show, whether it's my best one or my worst one, I hope that you have the chance to say you were able to forget about life, at least for a little while. We close today the same way we close every great show. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Smile. Be happy. And until then. And to our friends in the South, sea amable consigo mismo. Sea amable con otros. Sonría. Sea feliz. Hasta entonces. Cuídese. Have a great weekend. Take care.